Okay, so I'm going to be honest here, the Easter eggs in the original Borderlands weren't great. A couple were cool, like Tannis riding the fish, but overall if I was to rate the game based on Easter eggs, it would probably be a 5 out of 10. Now when it comes to Borderlands 2, I'm happy to report that not only did the actual game improve a ton, but so did the Easter eggs. So join me today as we take a look at 20 Easter eggs, secrets and references in Borderlands 2. As was the case with that original Borderlands video, all of the Easter eggs in this video were recorded by Garbett, a YouTuber who also covers Easter eggs in games. As I mentioned in that first video, Garbett is a machine when it comes to finding Easter eggs first, so if you're interested in Easter eggs then go and check his channel out, the link is in the description. Anyway, without further delay, let's get started. So as usual, we'll start small and take a look at a quote said by NPCs. For a while, the arrow to the knee meme was in a lot of games. If you aren't familiar, it was a reference to a line said by characters in the Elder Scrolls Skyrim.
I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow in the knee.
It seems that Gearbox didn't want to miss out on a chance to reference it, as you can often hear random NPCs say something very similar.
I used to be a vault hunter, like you. I took a bullet to the knee.
If you watched my video on Borderlands 1, you'll remember that we found a secret Claptrap at Firestone. The little guy served no purpose, but he was very eager to get your attention. Well, in Borderlands 2, we can find the same Claptrap, except now he's dead.
Well done, darling!
Staying with that first video, we also found Steve the Bandit written in binary code on top of a building. Well, in Borderlands 2, we can find the man himself at a bar where he will say his famous catchphrase.
Hey-oh! 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 Hey-oh!
If you head to the Crimson Raiders HQ or Firehawk's lair, you can spot Roland's Facebook profile. It seems he and Lilith may have been an item at one point. Now the trouble with video games referencing memes is that a meme very quickly becomes a dead meme. The shelf life of most memes is around a month at most, so the chances are that when you reference one in your video game, by the time the game is actually released, people will have moved on. Borderlands 2 has this sort of problem, as if you head up to the Highlands, you can hear this.
Oh, double rainbow, full on, all the way. Oh, perfect double rainbow, all the way. Oh, what does it mean? What does it mean? Oh, double rainbow. Oh.
So that clip was a reference to this YouTube video, which was uploaded all the way back in 2010.
Whoa! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh, oh my god! Woo! Oh my! Wow!
You know how I said that a lot of games reference the arrow to the knee line from Skyrim? Well, that's nothing compared to the amount of games that reference the bonfire from Dark Souls. Off the top of my head, I know that Just Cause 3, Ghost Recon Wildlands, Dishonored Death of the Outsider, and Overwatch all featured these bonfires. Again, Gearbox, not wanting to miss out, also referenced the bonfire. You can also find a ghostly figure sitting by the bonfire, as well as a character called Solitaire, which is a reference to Solaire of Astora, a character from Dark Souls. At least Gearbox put a bit of effort into their Dark Souls Easter egg. Moving on now to what is probably the most popular Easter egg in the entire game. At the Corset Caverns, you can find a cave with some very creepy enemies inside. So if you haven't guessed it, and if you haven't, where have you been for the last 5 years, this entire area is a reference to Minecraft. You can also find Minecraft themed skins in this area too. As I mentioned, the best Easter egg in Borderlands 1 is undoubtedly Patricia Tannis riding a fish. Now I'm happy to report that Tannis is back riding fish in Borderlands 2. As was the case with Borderlands 1, shoot the barrels in a specific order for this to happen. Another great Easter egg can be found at the Wildlife Exploitation Preserve. The first thing you'll need to do is find 2 teddy bear pieces. The first can be found here, and the second piece is here. Once you have the pieces, take it to the location that Garbett does and wait for the mummy bear to arrive.
Do not drink the river water in the Hyperion Preserve. Do not ask why you cannot.
I was going to make some bear related puns here, but I couldn't bear it. One of the stranger Easter eggs in the game involves the famous Konami Code. If you head to the title screen and enter up, up, down, down, left, right, B, A, start, you will unlock the ability to toggle extra wubs. If you're wondering what extra wubs means, well, the description for this particular setting says that it literally does nothing. Great. This next Easter egg is really cool. Well, the story behind it is anyway. During PAX East 2011, various Easter eggs were hidden. One of the rewards for finding these Easter eggs was the chance to add your own Easter egg into Borderlands 2. The person who found that particular Easter egg decided to add a character named Johnny Waffles into the game. He can be found at Sanctuary near the bounty board and doesn't react to the player at all, which is probably a bit of a missed opportunity. Moving on now to take a look at some of the references found within the side missions and characters. Up first is probably my favourite Easter egg of the lot. During True Vault Hunter mode, you can find a gear in Claptrap's fireplace. The description of the gear reads, "Only a brisk walk to Iridium Blight will reward the courier." So let's head to Iridium Blight. The interesting thing here is that you cannot fast travel, drive or die, you have to walk it. Once you arrive, you have to ascend the volcano. As you approach the peak of the volcano, you'll be attacked by a psycho called Geary, who will then jump into the lava. After Geary's death, Rack will fly in and drop several loot chests for you. So this entire mission is a reference to the Lord of the Rings, particularly Frodo's journey to Mount Doom with the One Ring. Geary is meant to resemble Gollum, and the volcano is obviously Mount Doom. This is a great Easter egg, perhaps one of my favourites of all time. This next Easter egg references everyone's favourite crime-fighting reptiles, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. During the side mission Splinter Group, you are tasked with delivering pizza to a sewer. Pizza is the turtles' favourite food, and of course they live in a sewer. After you've arrived at the sewers, you're attacked by 4 mutants called Lee, Dan, Ralph and Mick. These names are a reference to the turtles, with Lee being Leonardo, Ralph being Raphael, Mick being Michelangelo and Dan being Donatello. They also seem to be expecting somebody called June. Now, one of the turtles' allies is April O'Neil, so June is probably a reference to that. At the end of the area, if you manage to turn all the lights on the wall green, Flinter will attack you. Flinter is a reference to Master Splinter from the Turtles. The next character that gets the Borderlands reference treatment is Donkey Kong. You can randomly encounter a character called Donkey Mong. Donkey Mong throws barrels and wears a tie just like Donkey Kong. If you manage to defeat Donkey Mong, you'll unlock the achievement Definitely Not an Italian Plumber, which is a reference to Mario. It's not only Donkey Mong you can find here too, there's also a chance that a character called King Mong will spawn, a reference to King Kong. Up next is the mission The Cold Shoulder, which tasks you with luring Scooter's love interest, Lainey White, away from 7 midgets. When you arrive to save Lainey, it turns out that she doesn't want to be saved, and you end up doing battle with Lainey and the midgets, including Bloody, Sleazy, Tipsy and Krabby. The mission is a reference to the fairy tale, Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. In the fridge area of the map, you can find the Rack Cave, which is where Rackman lives. Rackman carries similar weapons and gadgets to Batman. In true Vault Hunter mode, Rackman is named Rackman Forever, a reference to the film Batman Forever. So that's it, 20 Easter eggs, secrets and references in Borderlands 2. Once again, a huge thank you to Garbett for recording these Easter eggs. Please go and subscribe to him, the link to his channel will be in the description. As always, if you think we've missed something, then please let me know. The best place to do so is Instagram or Twitter. The links to both will be in the description and in my pinned comment. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.